In the arid expanse of the Mexican wilderness, an individual delves into scattered debris, inadvertently uncovering a concealed orifice in the earth housing a Nazi emblem ensconced around a spearhead. The moment his hand makes contact, a shadowy force commandeers his corporeal form, propelling it autonomously. When he endeavors to traverse the thoroughfare, an oncoming vehicle collides with him, resulting in the obliteration of the automobile. A disconcerting symbol materializes on the man's wrist, yet he persists, seemingly impervious to the peculiar occurrence. Simultaneously, within a Los Angeles residence, a mother swings a door ajar, only to be met with a horrified scream as she beholds her daughter contorting on the ceiling. Urgently seeking assistance, the family turns to Father Hennessy, who, lacking the requisite expertise, summons John Constantine to address the supernatural quandary. John, a connoisseur of the occult, adept in exorcisms and demonology, and renowned for his chain-smoking proclivities, discovers the possessed girl tethered to her bed. Manipulating sunlight's ingress through an open window, he administers an amulet to her forehead, inducing searing discomfort that prompts convulsions and vocalized distress while he recites an incantation. Abruptly, the girl ceases movement, giving way to an eerie entity emerging from her neck, launching an assault on John. Swiftly retaliating, John repels the entity with a forceful strike. Subsequently, he implores the family for a looking glass, suspending it above the girl as he shatters a window, instructing his apprentice Chaz to reposition their vehicle. Securing the mirror with a pulley system, he instructs observers to avert their gaze. One man, however, surreptitiously observes, resulting in vehement screams as his hair undergoes a chromatic transformation. Engaged in a struggle against the possessed girl, John coerces the inner demon to glance upward, facilitating the mirror's swift extraction of the malevolent entity, ensnaring it. As the demon endeavors to fracture the mirror, John applies force to the tether, propelling it onto the vehicle, disintegrating into myriad shards. Departing the scene, John stumbles upon an illustration depicting the fabled Spear of Destiny, purportedly responsible for Jesus' demise. Oblivious to an unseen observer manipulating a coin from above, John, harboring suspicion, apprises Hennessy of an exorcism surpassing the ordinary, foreseeing an imminent, momentous occurrence. Subsequently, Detective Angela awakens in a hospital bed, wherein a whispered utterance of Isabel prompts her ascent to the rooftop. Discarding her medical identification, she propels herself through the glass roof, alighting in the hospital's pool. In that fleeting moment, Angela awakens in her domicile, cognizant of the surreal experience as a mere figment of her nocturnal reverie. On the subsequent day, Angela is summoned to the hospital to scrutinize a perplexing case. A profound sense of desolation envelops her as she discovers that her nocturnal revelation manifests into a harrowing reality. The deceased individual is none other than her identical twin, Isabel. Miraculously, Isabel's demise unfolds precisely as Angela envisioned. Despite her sister's admission to the institution as a mental patient, Angela, intimately acquainted with Isabel, vehemently rejects the notion of her sibling's self-erasure. Concurrently, in the Mexican terrain, the man wielding the spear executes a prodigious leap, transcending the border. His acrobatic feat induces an instantaneous demise of all creatures in proximity. Meanwhile, John, grappling with a bout of hematemesis, seeks medical intervention. Regrettably, the diagnosis proves dire. His extensive history of smoking has bestowed upon him lung cancer, rendering his remaining time finite. Subsequently, within the confines of his abode, Beeman pays John a visit, bearing an array of supernatural paraphernalia for deployment in his mystical pursuits. Among the items, a firearm capable of discharging dragon breath is presented. John divulges the tale of the demon's endeavor to infiltrate the human realm, a departure from the norm, where demons are constrained to possession. In response, Beeman pledges to delve into the anomaly and conduct thorough research. Subsequently, John ventures into a church where he unexpectedly encounters Angela. A brief altercation ensues as they debate over their respective arrivals. Angela, driven by the desire to bestow a Catholic funeral upon Isabel, engages in conversation with a priest. However, her plea is met with refusal, the clergy citing Isabel's perceived act of self-erasure as an unforgivable mortal sin. Simultaneously, John discerns the presence of the half-breed angel, Gabriel, within the sacred confines. Notably, John perceives Gabriel's wings, a sight exclusive to individuals endowed with certain perceptual powers. John, harboring a quest for an extended lifespan, inquires whether God has the capacity to grant such a boon. Gabriel responds with laughter, dismissing John's aspiration to secure a place in heaven as futile. Undeterred, John contends that his prolific banishment of demons back to hell should offset his transgressions. However, Gabriel elucidates that only self-sacrifice and unwavering faith hold the key to heavenly admission. John's altruistic endeavors, tainted by a lack of genuine empathy, fall short of meeting the requisite criteria. Meanwhile, Hennessy concentrates intently, his hands traversing an array of newspapers as he discerns the audible resonance of news articles within his mind. Eventually, he halts at the article chronicling Isabel's demise, sensing an underlying significance that demands exploration. Simultaneously, Angela scrutinizes the footage capturing Isabel's demise, discerning her sister uttering John's name. An eerie synchronicity follows as all the phones within the building commence ringing simultaneously. Yet, when Angela endeavors to answer, an ominous silence pervades. Subsequently, John, afflicted by a fit of coughing, collapses to his knees in the midst of a thoroughfare. An anomalous occurrence unfolds as a crab materializes on his hand, precipitating an abrupt attack by a demon swathed in insects. The ferocity of the assault propels John, causing him to inadvertently relinquish the box containing his weapon. A struggle ensues as the demon seeks to asphyxiate him, prompting John to employ a fragment of a sign to repel the assailant. Despite the adversarial exchange, John manages to reclaim the box, yet before he can unveil its contents, the demon launches another offensive. A chaotic skirmish unfolds along the street, culminating in John discarding the box and orchestrating a collision with an oncoming vehicle, ultimately vanquishing the demonic assailant. John proceeds to eradicate any remaining insects with a resolute stomp. Following the ordeal, John, accompanied by Chaz, makes his way to Midnight's nightclub, a haven for supernatural entities. A peculiar examination at the entrance tests the visitor's ability to perceive a drawing on a card, granting John access while denying Chaz due to his lack of supernatural perception. Within the confines of the club, revelers indulge in debauchery, but John remains undeterred, advancing to the back room where he encounters the enigmatic owner, Papa Midnighter. An adept occultist who has chosen neutrality in the celestial conflict between heaven and hell, Midnighter is initially skeptical of John's account regarding the demonic assault. The tete-a-tete is interrupted by the half-breed demon Balthazar, toying with a coin as he taunts John. In response to John's retort, Midnight intervenes, emphasizing the prohibition of hostilities within his establishment. A sudden resurgence of coughing compels John to hastily exit the premises. Subsequently, within the confines of his residence, John receives an unexpected visit from Angela, beseeching his assistance under the conviction that Isabel's self-erasure was coerced by an external force. Skeptical of Angela's motives and attributing her plea to a desperate desire for her sister's salvation, John initially rejects her entreaty. However, a sudden revelation of shadows in pursuit of Angela prompts a change of heart in John. He surmises a potential connection between her case and the recent demonic incidents he has encountered. Angela, disbelieving in the existence of demons, finds herself engulfed in an uncanny circumstance as lights flicker out around them. In the midst of eerie noises, John, wielding a piece of fabric infused with a holy glow, exposes the demons lurking in the shadows. The celestial radiance reduces the malevolent entities to ashes, causing Angela to experience a visceral reaction, retching from the sulfurous aftermath. John clarifies that the demons are targeting Angela specifically, not him. Reluctantly agreeing to take on her case, John contemplates a visit to hell to ascertain Isabel's fate. At Angela's apartment, John immerses his feet in a basin of water, utilizing it as a conduit, and advises Angela to vacate the premises. He seizes her cat, recognizing the feline's supernatural connection, and by locking eyes with the creature, establishes a mystical link. Time halts around him as he traverses into the infernal realm. Armed with holy water for protection, John navigates the ghastly landscape, impervious to the tormenting elements, demons, and damned souls. At the precipice of a structure, he locates Isabel surrounded by demons. In a desperate act, Isabel utters John's name, discarding her medical tag. John pursues the falling tag, while demons give chase, leading to a climactic confrontation. Upon securing the tag, John ruptures a vial of holy water on his chest, abruptly reappearing in Isabel's apartment, shrouded in expelling smoke. Returning the tag to Angela, John confirms Isabel's self-erasure and the damning consequence that follows. Simultaneously, Hennessy clandestinely infiltrates the morgue, driven by the quest to unearth Isabel's lifeless form. Attempting to glean insights by grasping her arm, he is met with an ominous mark materializing on her wrist, instigating a fearful retreat. Terrified, he reaches for his flask, only to find not a single drop falls. Encountering a guard, Hennessy hastily retreats to a store, desperately attempting to imbibe from various alcohol bottles, yet the liquid eludes him. After a frenzied bout of bottle smashing, Hennessy collapses, choking. In a desperate bid, he utilizes a bottle opener to etch on his hand. Suddenly, Balthazar materializes, toying with his coin and reveling in the spectacle of Hennessy's demise. It is revealed that Balthazar fabricated an illusion, making the priest believe there was no liquid, while he was, in fact, choking on a plethora of it. Meanwhile, John divulges to Angela his childhood ability to perceive supernatural entities, leading to his parents, institutionalizing him, exacerbating his predicament. Despairing and ostracized, young John attempted self-erasure, officially declared dead for 2 minutes. However, his subjective experience in hell felt like a lifetime. Resuscitated by paramedics, John eventually embraced the reality of his supernatural perceptions. Driven by the weight of his transgressions, he endeavors to exorcise demons, aspiring to earn salvation despite the inevitability of his soul's descent to hell. He elucidates the celestial wager between heaven and hell, manifesting in beings like Gabriel and Balthazar, influencing human destinies. Their conversation is abruptly interrupted by news of Hennessy's demise, prompting an immediate visit to the scene. John notices a bloody mark on Hennessy's palm, identical to the symbols seen on Isabel and the Mexican man. Recognizing it as a message for him, John makes a copy and dispatches it to Beeman for analysis. Subsequently, they proceed to Isabel's hospital room, where John, agitated, implores Angela to recall any potential clues. Angela recollects a childhood secret communication method, exhaling onto the window to unveil the enigmatic message, Corinthians 17, an entity that should not exist. While driving away, John and Angela contact Beeman, who unravels the unsettling revelation that the Hell Bible contains more passages than its conventional counterpart. Corinthians 17 delves into the narrative of Mammon, the progeny of the devil, destined to shroud humanity in eternal darkness. The symbol from Hennessy's hand is associated with Mammon's ominous agenda. Mammon seeks dominion over Lucifer, requiring both a potent psychic and a divine entity for his malevolent scheme. Beeman, sensing impending danger, abruptly hangs up and insects start emerging from his eyes, leading to his untimely demise. Concerned for Beeman, John and Angela hasten to check on him, only to find his lifeless body draped in a macabre veil of insects. Meanwhile, the man bearing the spearhead purloins a car, embarking on a journey towards Los Angeles. Angela, grappling with guilt over abandoning Isabel during her mental health treatment, confesses to John that they both shared the ability to perceive supernatural entities as children. However, when Isabel underwent psychiatric care, Angela suppressed her own experiences until they ceased altogether. Overwhelmed by remorse, Angela implores John to help her regain her ability to see. John consents, creating a makeshift ritual by filling a bathtub with water. Despite Angela's struggles, he submerges her, holding her down until she succumbs to drowning. In the suspended moment before normalcy is restored, Angela experiences a journey to hell, reclaiming her dormant powers. Sensing a disturbance, she rushes to Beeman's office, discovering Balthazar's coin. In his office, Balthazar admires his reflection in the mirror as it starts to ripple. Without warning, the dragon's breath erupts, obliterating the mirror and propelling Balthazar across the room unscathed. John seizes the opportunity, dousing the demon with holy water, causing him to recoil from the burning sensation. Balthazar retaliates by pinning John against the wall, prompting the release of the dragon's breath. The assault forces John to drop the potent weapon, but he resorts to brass knuckles adorned with crosses, pummeling Balthazar and compelling him onto a table. Standing triumphant, John brandishes a Bibli, threatening to bless the demon instead of exorcising him, ensuring a path to heaven for his tormented soul. Terrified, Balthazar discloses Mammon's sinister intention to manifest in the human realm, necessitating the Spear of Destiny. In a dramatic turn, Angela emerges behind John, and Balthazar, reveling in his machinations, discloses that he orchestrated Angela's presence for Mammon's nefarious purpose. Unfazed, John swiftly dispatches Balthazar with a gunshot, and as they exit, a mysterious figure hovers over the fallen demon. Balthazar implores for revival, citing mission completion, but the enigmatic being watches him disintegrate. On their way out, Angela discerns the grim reality. Isabel chose self-erasure to thwart the demons from exploiting her to summon Mammon. Now that she's deceased, they set their sights on Angela. Suddenly, Angela experiences an otherworldly pull, traversing through elevator doors and numerous walls. John leaps through successive openings to pursue her. But Angela is swiftly drawn through the sky beyond his reach. Desperation drives John to the club, where he shoots the back door, demanding assistance from Midnight. In response, Midnight, employing magical prowess, immobilizes John against the wall. In agony, John elucidates the breakdown of established rules, compelling Midnight to reluctantly agree to aid him. In the repository of arcane artifacts, they retrieve a chair historically used for capital punishment. John, shedding his shoes and wetting the floor, undergoes electrocution orchestrated by Midnight with a bulb. This induces a visionary revelation, unveiling the man with the spear advancing towards the hospital, where a multitude of demons ensnaring human hosts converge. A demonic assailant lunges at John, but Midnight promptly extracts him from harm's way. Meanwhile, Angela is deposited at the hospital pool, encountering the spearhead-wielding man. Unloading her firearm proves futile as the bullets have no effect, and the assailant submerges her underwater. Simultaneously, John and Chaz arrive at the hospital. Chaz proceeds to sanctify the water tank with a holy cross, while John identifies the demon-infested area. He strategically activates the fire alarm, triggering the sprinklers to drench the room with holy water, weakening the demons. John, armed with specially prepared bullets, commences an onslaught, eliminating the demonic horde. Despite a few demon attempts at retaliation, John, assisted by Chaz, successfully dispatches them. In their quest to locate Angela, they discover her in a perilous encounter with the Mexican man. Upon entering the pool room, John encounters the lifeless body of the man, initiating a bizarre transformation where the water boils and a possessed Angela emerges. Unwilling to resort to lethal measures, John engages in a struggle to exorcise her. Angela retaliates, dragging him underwater in an attempt to drown him. The timely intervention of Chaz turns the tide, with both of them subduing Angela on the floor. As John initiates the incantation, Angela undergoes a sudden return to normalcy. However, the respite is short-lived, as Mammon reveals its presence within her stomach. This time, both John and Chaz unite in chanting the incantation, expending considerable effort to dispel Mammon. Abruptly, Chaz is violently propelled backward, colliding with the ceiling and succumbing instantly. Enraged, John employs tattoos on his arms, reciting an incantation to unveil the concealed entity within the room. The ceiling dramatically parts, and Gabriel descends upon John, revealing himself as the divine catalyst that could facilitate Mammon's arrival. Gabriel bemoans the perceived injustice that repentance can grant heaven to even heinous individuals, aspiring to unleash Mammon to sift out only those resilient enough to endure the ensuing suffering, deeming them worthy of salvation. A gust from Gabriel propels John into a glass door, and seizing the spear, Gabriel initiates the ritual. In a desperate bid to thwart Gabriel, John turns to prayer and employs glass shards for self-erasure. Time freezes abruptly, and the spectral forms of Gabriel and Lucifer materialize. John, the sole soul Lucifer is permitted to claim personally, reveals Mammon's imminent threat to Hell's plans. Lucifer, skeptical, detonates another door to verify John's claim. Meanwhile, Gabriel, poised to carry out the ritual, is halted by Lucifer, who whisks Angela away just before the temporal resumption. The reflected image on the water unveils Lucifer holding Mammon over Angela, asserting his dominion. Gabriel, devoid of power due to divine abandonment, futilely attacks Lucifer. The fallen angel consigns Mammon back to hell, incinerates Gabriel's wings, and submerges him in the pool. As the turmoil concludes, Lucifer offers John a life extension as gratitude for the warning. However, John selflessly requests Isabel's soul be ushered into heaven. With a simple gesture, Lucifer fulfills John's request but attempts to claim his soul. Unexpectedly, an invisible force halts Lucifer, signaling that John, owing to his sacrifices, no longer belongs in hell. John's soul ascends toward the heavenly light, defiantly gesturing at Lucifer. In a surprising twist, Lucifer intervenes, removing John's lung cancer and extending his life, harboring hope for future transgressions. Subsequently, John reclaims the spearhead and checks on Angela, who remains unharmed. Gabriel, now human, seeks revenge, but John, recognizing the human existence as punishment enough, spares him, opting for a punch instead. Parting ways with Angela on the rooftop, John entrusts her with the spear for safekeeping and opts for gum over a cigarette. In the aftermath, John pays a visit to Chaz's grave, witnessing his soul ascend to become an angel. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and enable notifications to watch more videos like this.